All right, is there audio now? Oh, yes, there is very much audio. I can hear it on my laptop. All right. Welcome to another stream, everybody. Sorry about that. 1 for being late, 2 for no audio. But I'm here now, and I have audio now. So, hooray. Today, I am doing the awfully wonderful task of cataloging tires. Probably like close to 30 pounds, if not more, tires. My favorite job. I've already done most of them, actually. Now it's just the ones that I took a look at and decided I'm not doing these. And now they're coming to bite me because they still have to get done. I've got, I don't know, like 2, whatever size container this is, left of stuff. The issue here is that there are some very, very minute mold variations that our B sorter did not tell apart, which is fine because until I was halfway through uploading, I also did not realize that there are mold variations here. Chris, I'm sorry, with a pun like that, I'm going to have to ban you from the stream. No, but I hate puns. One time, a friend of mine was over, and they made a pun, and so I actually just made them go home. I believe it was an Orange You Glad joke, so I guess not really a pun, but I guess that's a pun. I don't know, what is the exact technical definition of a pun? Anyway, today, mold types on tires. And the reason, normally I don't catalog on stream, but today I am cataloging on stream because I don't actually know the answer to some of these molds, and so I might have to outsource, which is always wonderful. I've already probably spent about a quarter as much time as I did cataloging, correcting the errors in my cataloging. So, wonderful. David, welcome. Glad you're picking. Your average lot per hour is going to go down though if you're distracted. So you gotta keep it up. Oh, Chris says wait until you have to pick them. Well, you see, that's the wonderful thing is I will not put 2 types of tires in the same drawer unless it's like a huge tire and a little tire. Then I hope our pickers have the capability to. Thank you, Nancy. A joke exploiting the different possible meanings of a word, the fact their words would sound alike but have different meanings. Okay, so maybe Orange You Glad is a pun. But yeah, here trying to split right now, the ones that I am currently working on are these tiny little, man, I don't even know what you call these. I haven't actually tried to find them yet, but what I have realized is there are some with numbers and some without. And I believe that those are different mold types. Actually, I know they're different mold types. So there's that. Now, I have also come across some where there seems to be like a funnel shape to it. Like one side of the wheel is wider than the front side, and I'm not sure if that is an aging thing or if that is a mold variation. I'm got to try and find an example now. But if anyone in chat knows, hooray. I guess I might as well also go down the list here and say hello to everyone. Hello Pixelink, hello Funbrick Creations, hello Axio. I am having a great day. Chris, welcome. I already said hi to you. Daddy O Bricks, welcome. Nancy, welcome. Willa Brick Store, good afternoon. Ralph's Brick, hello. Harry, hello. Chris says, be careful how low you price them. Some customers will buy you out of stock. Well, that is totally fine because the tires bin in our 22 category sort fills up insanely fast. We just had 4, I think, No. Two full 12-gallon bins sorted. I've already almost got 2 more full. So they can buy as fast as they want, assuming, I'm not going to go below 6-month sales average, obviously. I'll price it using our normal pricing strategy. But, yeah, people are welcome. If you are interested in hundreds, probably thousands of tires, of various types, please hit me up. If you buy the entire tire supply, all of them, I may be willing to give you a discount, but you have to buy them all. Yeah, email me if you're interested in buying all of the used tires. PixelLink says, I've been avoiding uploading tires for 6 months now. I have a large backlog, but I keep putting it off because of the headache. Yeah, doing consolidation, actually, one of the few benefits of consolidation is that you are likely to go back to pieces that you added a while ago and notice that you cataloged them completely wrong. So not only have I been cataloging these tires, I've also been recataloging a great deal of the tires in our inventory because they were wrong. So yeah, slowly rotating through the mess of tires. Hooray. So on these, you know what? Let's do a big brain move here, actually. Some mold types have an undetermined type. And furthermore, some undetermined types sell more than the specified types because it's too much work for like any stores to differentiate. So let's take a look here. And before I spend all of these hours, let's see if that is the case. No, there is not an undetermined type for these. Chris says, no, don't go there. Usually we don't. There's only a couple parts that I can't name off the top of my head, which we have uploaded undetermined. And how I determine whether or not to upload undetermined is I click it and I look at the sale 6 months. I look at the pricing as well as the sell-through rate. And there are very few parts, but there are a couple where the undetermined does actually just sell more and generally not for more, but close enough that it's fine. But we only do that on things where it's an obscene amount of labor to differentiate them. But there's only a few. Jumpers always get differentiated because people care about that. Basically, anything that has a functional difference will differentiate. It's things sometimes where there is no functional difference between the two variations. Daddy O Bricks also says, also they're going through slowly and marking for a deletion. Yeah, I imagine they're gonna. I wonder. So on Brick Owl, there is a store configuration for whether you differentiate between mold variations. And you can either flag your whole store as differentiating or your whole store as not differentiating. I wonder what happens to undetermined mold types when they get synced. I wonder. Because that might be a problem. Because in the past, we've had some sync errors where people order a part on Brick Owl and they get the wrong part, but our inventory on BrickLink says that it's the right part. So there's an ID mismatch. And I wonder if any of those are because of this mold type variation thing. Fun Brick Creation says, so I don't get confused on a part. This is why I mostly do new or used of my own Lego, as I can track down what set it came from to see exactly what the part is determined as. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't do that. Okay, these have numbers, and These do not have numbers. So there's going to be a lot of silence today, just a heads up. But also, you might notice Evan is not here. He is once again doing other work, which is not good. Well, it's fine. He can do what he wants. But I teased him before about always conveniently being gone on the streams the last few weeks. So just me today. So you're just going to have to deal with the silence. But yeah, if they start deleting all of the undetermined, then we will have to start doing that. Now, hopefully it's just a very small portion of our inventory. Actually, I'm sure that it's just a very small portion of our inventory. Okay, here's one that I want to know whether it's a different mold type. So it has... I don't actually even know if the camera is going to be small enough. It's going to zoom or focus well enough for this. Let's try. All right, Paul tries to figure out how to work a camera. Alrighty, I think that's right. Okay, so if you can see here, it seems to like curve in a bit, where this side over here is shorter. Sorry, is wider than this side over here. Is this a mold variation, or is this simply a bad piece? That is the great question. Now let's go back to autofocus and hope that it doesn't break. Come on. Wonderful. If Evan is watching right now, I'm sure he's just like, you are not smart, Paul. All right, hopefully this works. It might be a little out of focus, but I'm not the camera guy, so. Okay, let's see here. What did I miss? Let's pretend the purple water bottle is Evan. Yes, I can talk to the water bottle. I am going to need to replace it very soon. It's definitely feeling its age. I've had this for like 2.5 years now, which is kind of a record for me in terms of owning a possession without just absolutely destroying it. So hooray! But I believe it's almost time for an upgrade. But it was like $12 on Amazon. So I would say $12 for like 2.5 years. I don't know what the cost per day of that is, but I'd say it's pretty good. David says, sometimes I list a few undetermined just to get the lot count up. Yeah, I also don't necessarily know how the undetermined works in wanted lists. That would be a good thing to do some science on. Macaroni truck. I can't believe I just said that. Macaroni. I thought it was macaron truck, and then I realized there was an I. Macaroni truck says, should I use credit debit by Stripe for BrickLink? I strongly recommend you have PayPal as an option, and then use Stripe as a secondary option, because the majority of people seem to use PayPal, and yeah, the majority of people seem to use PayPal. PayPal does charge a lot in fees, but having people check out and making some money is better than making no money. But I would say add Stripe as a secondary checkout option. It just adds then another thing that you have to process. Also, if you use ShipStation, PayPal shipping, whatever it is now, I don't know if Stripe forwards the information there or not. Daddy O'Brick says, I think the variation is a solid ring on the sidewall or as writing on the sidewall. Yeah, that's what I have split. So I will just assume then that this is a bad piece that has become warped. Daddy O'Brick says, I have Stripe side up, but many sellers avoid it because there's a higher potential for fraud. Stripe set up, but many sellers avoid it because there's a higher potential for fraud. Yeah, that is definitely, we don't use it, but that's because we want our shipping unified. At least I don't think we have it. No, I'm certain that we don't, unless somehow it forwards to PayPal, and Evan set it up forever ago. But to my knowledge, we don't have it. We've thought about it, but like I said, unless PayPal or ShipStation by PayPal or whatever it's called can import from it, we want every package in just one uniform location so that it's very easy to train our pickers and stuff to ship properly. Matt says, did anyone get additional promo sets this week at a Lego store? I also got last week's Tatooine Homestead, Obi-Wan Polybag, and Tantive 5 Micro Build. Total of 6 promos. That is very impressive. But like Chris is about to say, we don't buy Lego from Lego. Not that we have anything against Lego. It's just usually Lego does not have prices that are good, and also we've been focusing on used lately. We just don't have the multi-threading capabilities to be running both a new and used operation simultaneously right now. Hopefully when we move eventually and we get some more staff, we're going to go back to doing new. So that way we can have some staff that do new and some staff that do used, and there'll be enough manpower to do everything. Because if we tried to split it right now, then just neither would get done. And used has a higher margin and attracts more people to the store. And at least for our store size bracket, is probably the better business decision for now. Obviously it'd be better to do both, but since that would have a pretty high cost, no for now. Funberg says, I use PayPal as it's the easiest and safest. Well, easiest. I suppose it is easier, but it has a lot of problems. But I don't know if I want to go on the whole PayPal rant today, but PayPal costs a lot of money and has very poor customer service, and just generally has a lot of problems. The majority of the links on their customer service page, forms that they send us, we were trying to download our transaction history, and the link that they sent us to download it was a dead link. It's just a huge... There's a lot of things on the PayPal seller experience side of things that are not well implemented. Chris says, no, Stripe does not always have the customer's data. They don't have to add it. Funbert Creation says, I print my own address labels, so I find PayPal very simple. Daddy-O Bricks says, gotta run, goodbye. Willa Brick Store says, I lately painfully noticed because I did very little work on my brick store. I only had like 2 or 3 sales in the last 30 days. I do have 144,000 parts in stock. Yeah, you gotta add every day. When you add parts that sell quickly, it basically acts as a magnet, right? So how the wanted lists work is it's going to look for the cheapest store that has the most amount of what you want. And it appears to rank has the most amount of stuff that you want more than price. And so that's how larger stores can mark up. But also it means that if you have a rare, high moving part, then it is going to motivate the wanted list to pick your store and put all of the other parts in there as well, because you're going to be one of very few stores with that piece, meaning that your competition for that order with other stores on the platform goes down substantially. So just having a lot of very common pieces is not enough. You need to have those magnet pieces, and they will cause your more common inventory to sell. Right, so it's not necessarily that you're getting parts that won't ever sell. You definitely do. There are, a decent chunk of this inventory that will probably never move, at least within a reasonable amount of time. But that percentage goes down with the more high value, rapid movement parts that you have. Ralph Sprick says, looks like you only have PayPal. Great, knows my store better than I do. Yelmer says, Yelmer. I feel like I switch that pronunciation every single time. First of all, great to have you here. And then he says, I have 20 red dish 6x6 inverted, undetermined type. But BrickLink does not allow it to add it to my inventory. That is probably because that lot has been flagged for deletion. But Christian says, I don't know if ShipStation or some of the other people's use are available within Australia. Plus my main focus is on new parts, but I haven't calendar parts to part out still. Better get to it. Willie Brick Store says, thanks for the explanation. No problem. And that's theory. None of that has been confirmed, from BrickLink directly, at least not that I know of. It's just what we've inferred from watching how sales work. Merton says, greetings from London. Hello, Merton. I believe this is the first time I've seen you here. Welcome. If you are a subscriber of the channel or have been following us for a while, you might notice that I'm by myself. Evan, unfortunately, is not here today, but he should be here next week if you want to get the full Just Brick in the Bucket experience. David says, store was at 390K parts last stream of yours. Closed retail and at 427. Now, David, you are just continuously killing it. Paul is reading the chat before I even see it displayed on the screen. Well, luckily today the camera is lined up perfectly so that looking at the camera and looking at the TV is very easy. I don't have to move. Last time the camera was all the way over there, so there was a lot of delay. Merton says, probably a different account, but I tend to watch. Awesome. Then great to have you back. Also, I don't know if our chat is faster than your chat. It could be that they give us a second or two to screen what is being said to moderate. Also, there's two versions of chat. There's a live chat and a top chat. YouTube does its own automatic filtering / moderation, which for some reason seems to arbitrarily flag people as bad. And if you're on top chat, it will screen those people out. We've had totally normal people get screened out, longtime subscribers. So we read from live chat. So if you have the option to change from top chat to live chat, my recommendation is that you do so. Steve says, good evening. Welcome, Steve. Ralph Brick says, I was on top chat. Funbrick Creation says, once I click on the stream every week, I automatically change it to live chat. Yes, that is what we do as well. We learned this a long time ago. There was a subscriber named Rain. Haven't seen her in a while, but she used to be here basically every stream, but for some reason it thought she was spam or against the rules or something. And for the longest time we thought she had just disappeared, but she was actually here and she was chatting. We just couldn't see it because we were on top chat. So yeah, beware. BrickQuest says, hello everyone, welcome to the stream, BrickQuest. Ralph's Brick says, live chat is also delayed for me because you said good evening to Steve before I saw it. I'm living in the past apparently. Interesting. Or just you're a lot farther from the server than we are. JD, hello. Funbird Creation says, I also heard you say it before I saw it on chat. Interesting. I'm very curious now because we have delay, right? Like when you see us, it's delayed, right? So I'm very curious that you see the chat after it. That must mean chat is very delayed. Or it's trying to synchronize it somehow. Not exactly sure how that would work, but Christian Scott, welcome. Yes, Ralph, it is very strange. Ralph Bricks wants to know, at David West, any former customers throwing eggs at the store because you closed retail? I don't know when it's going to be. And I guess I probably should have asked David before I announce it, but we're going to be doing an interview, special exclusive edition, only here on Just a Brick in the Bucket, interview with David sometime in the near future, don't know when exactly, about the retail experience and what he learned from it, and all that kind of stuff. It's been a while since we've had a guest. I believe the last, we did one with Chris, a Great Brick Lab, and one with Shane. Yeah, Shane. So, been a while since we've done anyone else. David says, let's call it Friday night. I gotta see what Evan's schedule is looking like, because I'd like to do it with both of us. Hypertech says, hi, tuned into the stream and learned something about YouTube. I never knew about the two chat streams. Yes, it's very interesting. My assumption is that exists because obviously there are some channels out there that are very popular, have millions of subscribers, and there's an insane amount of chat going. And obviously the streamer cannot be expected to keep up with all that. So it probably uses some kind of like filtration algorithm to try and decide what's important and what's not important. And it does not seem to be very good. Jelmer says, I wasn't there in your past streams for the past 4 weeks. Is consolidation still a point of discussion at the moment? Kind of. No decision is going to be made until after we've moved out, at the very least. We're going to continue to consolidate until we move, because consolidation is more efficient in terms of a limited space standpoint. So there's really going to be no decisions until we have more space to expand. So I don't know exactly when we're going to be moving. We have a tentative time period. We actually have a tentative date, but I don't want to express that publicly yet until things are more farther along. But it's not, you know, imminent. It's still quite a bit out. But yeah, we can't we want to fill this garage to capacity before we move, so that we can, because we don't, it's very cheap here in this garage for the store. And so if we were to move prematurely, we would be losing out on those savings. So we want to fill this garage to maximum capacity before we move, and that means consolidation. Now, technically, you could make an argument. Consolidation does, like, you know, take more time, and that's lost revenue. I guess that's an argument, but still probably worth it. So, yeah, that's the consolidation opinion for now. Ralph Brick says, don't cross the chat streams. Willie Brick Store says, I've been following Atlanta Brick Co. recently. They seem to be quite successful doing retail and BrickLink together. Yeah, I do think that it is possible to do retail and BrickLink. I'll be interested to hear David's perspectives and reasons for why he thinks it didn't work, and whether he thinks it would work for other people, and why it does work for the people that it does work for. So yeah, hold out for an announcement on that stream. Ralph Brick says they definitely put more effort into their retail versus their effort on BrickLink. Yeah, like, I think that, I'll wait to hear David's perspective, but I do think that the quality of retail is definitely going to be a major factor in retail. If you are going to be heavily invested in it, I think that it would work. That's just my opinion, though. David West over here flexing. They have 271 orders placed in the last 6 months. I have 2,029. Flexing over here. What was it you said the other day on one of your streams? Oh, yeah. If you want to find my store, just go on BrickLink and then look at the second one. Or go on BrickLink, sort by store size, and click the second one. Still a very good flex. I have a package that we won on that stream. I am not going to unbox it today. Probably best of Evans here for that. But I'm very excited to open it. Are there going to be any more giveaways in the future, David? Because Just a Brick in the Bucket is looking to get access to those rare limited edition minifigures. Legend has it that a signed David West fig can go for 6 figures. So, you know, it's an easy business decision. JD says, does BrickLink have an option for selling an entire store, or have you ever purchased an entire store? BrickLink does not have that. Theoretically, you could make a custom item and put all of your store as a custom set under it and sell that, but good luck. We have acquired other stores before, very small stores. Usually how it works is someone approaches us, we don't go to them, and they want to exit the BrickLink game, and so we make them an offer on their stuff. Unfortunately, it's usually a lot less than they're expecting, and it's not because we're trying to cheat people, it's just, you know, what you're selling it for is only probably a little less than what we're going to sell it for, right, in terms of what it's worth on BrickLink. But if you're trying to get rid of the whole thing, then there's probably a sense of urgency about it. And, you know, if we were going to buy it from you, we have to invest a lot of labor into integrating your store into ours. If you don't use the same remarks or organization system as we do, then we have to still go through and index everything as if it had come back from a cataloger. And that's assuming we can get your entire inventory and it's accurate. In the past, when we've gotten inventory from stores, it's historically not completely accurate, or at least it's not the same quality standards that we would employ in our store. Nothing on those stores, right? It's just different operational codes. And so every piece still needs to be inspected, and especially with minifigs. I've encountered a lot of figs where the arms on the back are cracked, so those get tossed. And obviously we need to calculate that we're going to be tossing a certain percentage of the store. And those are obviously parts that we can't sell, but they were included in the value estimation when we were talking quotes. So when we quote, we have to assume that a certain percentage of what we purchase is going to be waste. And then there's obviously labor involved, the amount of time it's going to sit before it can get into the store. You know, it can't be, a large store cannot be integrated in a few hours unless they're a very high quality store that has an inventory kept almost identically to ours, in which case it could go very fast. And that would be factored into a quote as well. If you use an identical quality standard and an identical inventory method to us, we may be willing to offer a bit more, especially if the acros are included, because acros go for a pretty penny right now. But just in general, it's very expensive to integrate a store, sometimes more expensive than to just let things go through our pipeline, right? So unfortunately, when people come to us with an offer, they're usually expecting to get pretty close, you know, 70% of what their store's market value is, but that's probably not going to happen. I don't want to necessarily explain any specific numbers, obviously, but it's going to be less than that. And that's just, you know, being honest. Usually people are very understanding of that. We give them an offer and we explain that it's just very expensive, and then we usually give recommendations on what they can do to mitigate costs. Usually the largest recommendation is find a local store. Shipping a large store is very expensive, and usually we will absorb the shipping cost. And so, you know, we may explain the offer after it's extremely clear that there's going to be no negotiation, right? And so, you know, that's just the reality of it. That said, if you are looking to liquidate your store, obviously you can come talk to us. You're probably not going to get better, you know, much better rates from a lot of places. It's probably going to be pretty similar across the board. We would love to hear it if there is someone out there that is buying stores at 70 to 80% of market value, because I really want to know how they are making a profit on that. But you know, the truth is you're trying to get rid of it quickly, probably, and you're trying to get rid of it all at once. And that's, asking a lot. Let's catch up on chat here. Hypertech says, like lots mixed together in the same compartment. Yes. Hypertech, I know several that do it. I'm just curious how it scales. Oh, that was in reference to Hypertech says, I like a place for everything and everything in its place. What's your thoughts on the method of multiple lots in a drawer? It's absolutely more effective and more profitable if you're a larger store. David can attest to that. We term that non-consolidation. However, if you're working with a limited store blueprint in terms of your available space, I would recommend that you consolidate. And unless you're going to be stuffing drawers. If you're stuffing drawers, then it's going to be more efficient to stuff the drawers because you're going to get the most volume out of that. But that comes with its own pros and cons. And even if we were to stop consolidating, we would not stuff drawers. But the most successful stores within a reasonable bracket, because there's huge stores, huge in terms of piece count, that do not consolidate. But the most successful stores in terms of revenue and lot count do not consolidate, and so there's obviously something to that. We do consolidate, and that's for a variety of reasons. One of them is user experience, or is customer experience, but yeah, it's an ongoing debate that has plagued this channel for a very long time. But I would say simply the idea of having everything in its place, simply because that's more aesthetic or organized, is, obviously do whatever you want. But from a business perspective, I would not say that that is a good reason to consolidate. Evan and I used to hold that perspective. We've both since changed that. We have our reasons for consolidation, but they're no longer that. Originally, we wanted things to just be organized. But the truth is, if you are using proper inventory keeping methods, barcodes, drawer numbers, all that kind of stuff, it doesn't actually matter where, how organized the inventory is visually. It matters how organized it is in your records. And so long as you can easily find a piece anywhere, it doesn't really affect anything in terms of productivity. JD says, I'm looking to buy stores, new parts only. Good luck. Dunder Mifflin Brick Co. says, how y'all doing? It's been a while since I've come here. Welcome, Dunder Mifflin. It's been a long time indeed. JB says, hello. Hello. Steve says, by default, you're going to be around 30% of the store's inventory value, and build on that with the storage, etc., what's included. It's a bit more complicated than that. We look into a bunch of factors. If we can get a BSX of the inventory, we will compare that against our pricing scheme and our models in terms of what we can mark up versus what we cannot mark up in order to make an offer. Shipping, minifigs, new lots being added to our store, etc. All of that stuff would go into a calculation. We don't just pick 30%. Funbrick says, if I wanted to get rid of my store, I just put the stuff on a huge sale to get it all gone. Yeah, but you might end up making less money there. You're certainly going to be expending more labor. Simply selling a store, like to us, has minimal labor on your part. Basically, we just are going to ask that you bag everything separately within reason. If you already split on lot, then bag every lot. If you do not split on lot, then bag every drawer. And then we will give you box dimensions and weight specifications in terms of how heavy each of those boxes can be. And then we'll ask you to ship it. And that's how it goes. And we'll ask that you keep anything that is in the inventory versus not in the inventory separate. But, you know, you're probably going to get a higher offer. You know, in order to get your store gone, you would have to mark down quite a bit, I think, on BrickLink. And you'd have to do a lot of labor to pack all those orders. Versus you'd probably only have to spend a couple hours bagging your store. JB says, if someone places an order but pays cash, do you know if BrickLink has a way of collecting the sales tax? I did not know that cash was an option. Willabrick says, I'm off to bed. Have a good rest of your day, and thanks for your insights as always. Good night. Funbrick says, I only would do it as I don't know how many stores that are local to me where I live. You can go online. Jomer says, do you think the high inflation at the moment hurts the inventory value? I think I am not an investment expert. I do not have a degree in anything investment related. And I am not able to give you tax advice or anything as the such. But it is my personal opinion that Lego is fairly inflation resistant. And there might be a temporary difference where the Lego might be cheaper right now in this exact moment because inflation is going up so rapidly. Where the inventory is not valued at what it should be, but the market will correct quickly. I do think that Lego is, as a whole, relatively value consistent, right? In terms of, obviously, you can't necessarily use the dollar because it's a fiat, but if you were to use an objective measurement of value, I anticipate that a Lego brick 10 years ago is worth approximately the same objective measure of value then as it is today, if not slightly more now. So there's my opinion on it. Now, I am not one of those people that says Lego is more valuable than gold. I think that's a clickbait title. Depending on how you look at it, theoretically correct. David West says, nice opinion. I'm going to use this as financial advice now. Please don't sue me. You know, that's technically correct from certain clickbaity news perspective points of view, but they are not talking about the BrickLink market. They're talking about the used set market. And what they are not saying that per pound it is more valuable than gold. What they are saying is that it appreciates more quickly than gold, which is true. But that doesn't actually mean it's more valuable. It just means that percentage-wise, if I have a set, it's going to appreciate percentage-wise faster than gold. But if it was only $10 to start out with, versus a gold of the same weight is, hundreds of pounds, is, not hundreds of pounds, but, very heavy, that gold is going to be worth more than that set. I don't actually know if there is any set that is worth more than its weight in gold. If you do know of a set that is worth more than its weight in gold, or a fig or anything like that, please do let me know. But yeah, what David says, Lego is not a liquid asset. Especially if you are doing sets. If you are doing sets, the set game is very different. I don't know a lot about it. So this is not the channel to get advice on that, but from the little bit I do know, that game is about one of two methods. A, saving for a year and then immediately selling at a low, you're not going to be at a low appreciation, but for fast turning inventory, right? So you will make some more than you had last year, but not a lot. The other method is to save for a very long time. There really does not seem to be a middle ground where you only save for a few years. You either save it just a bit and then sell, or you save it for the long haul and then resell. My personal opinion would be that your asset, it would be better to invest in other things, but there are people that do it for a career, and so obviously their success debunks that argument. But there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of success with that, but it's not our market. We've thought about getting into it, but it's very complicated and has a decent amount of knowledge overhead, and so we just don't, not yet, have time to get into that. Merton says, Mr. Gold Minifig, probably. Is he gold-plated or is he solid? Gary says, gold is more finite. Lego manufacturers tons more bricks each year. Yes, that is very true. The gold supply has increased 1.6%, I think, every year since the dawn of man, more or less. The majority of gold that exists today, the majority of gold that has ever been mined and processed in the entirety of human history is still more or less in circulation today. And despite all the technological advances that we have made, my understanding is that there is only about 1.6% more gold every year. So, very interesting fact tidbit. There is well more than 1.6% more Lego every year, I believe. Yelmer says, no, I mean my BrickLink parts inventory. Let me scroll up here and see what that was in reference to. Okay, in terms of your inventory value, in the very short term, I would say yes, but the market is going to correct. I do believe that parts inventory here is also still very inflation resistant. It's just there's such a very steep increase in inflation right now that it's going to take a little bit for various markets to correct. Hoarder says, all the gold that is ever mined will only fill 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools. I do not know that. JD says, I own both Lego and gold, and I do follow the markets. The sets have outperformed gold, and that is selling as soon as it is retired with 35% returns on sets after expenses. Is that dollar to dollar? Or, so sorry, is that pound for pound? Or is that, like, if I buy a set for $100, and then I flip it and have $135 at the end, right, 35%. Versus I have $100, you know, are you saying that an individual set has more value than the same weight of gold? Because that is how I understood many of those articles trying to say, which is not accurate. Thunder Mifflin Brickco says, Cloud City Boba Fett has to be close to worth its weight in gold. A new one anyway, maybe not used. How much is that worth? But if JD follows markets, then I would assume he probably is more knowledgeable than I am. Let's see how much Cloud City goes for. Its 6-month sales average is a little over $2,000. So let's see, how much does it weigh? It weighs 1,904 grams. So very much not so. Cloud City is so 60 So the price of gold is 60.6, so $60.06 per gram, and then times 1,904 grams is basically $115,000, which is a bit more than the $2,000 that 1,904 grams of Cloud City is worth. So no, unfortunately. Oh, Cloud City Boba Fett. That's very different. Let's check that. I thought you were talking about the set. That... It is 4 grams. This might actually be... Yep. Boba Fett is worth more than gold. We found one. Quite a bit more. 4 grams of gold is $242. 4 grams of Boba Fett is $1,500. So let's see. We can test that real quick, JD. Ingot, I believe. Gold ingot. Is ingot not the word? Yes, it is. Okay. We'll go with metallic gold here. Or pearl gold. Let's see. So in pearl gold, they are worth 10 cents new. And 69 cents in metallic gold. So we'll go with metallic gold. So how much do they weigh? 0.22 grams. So 543.592 grams in 16 ounces. So you could fit 2,062, we'll call it, gold bars in 16 ounces. So that's $1,422 for 16 ounces of Lego gold bars. So now if we use our $60 a gram, so did I do that right? I don't know if I did that math right. I think I did. Okay. So 453 times. So 453 grams of gold is worth $27,000. So unless my math is wrong here, I believe that gold is worth quite a bit more than Lego gold bars by a factor of like 15 or so. unless I did my math wrong, because I suck at math. So it is very possible that I calculated something incorrectly there. I have gotten no tires done. So let's count some tires. You know, I could probably actually just weigh these. It will be more efficient, I believe, for these to just get weighed. So let's see what else needs to be differentiated here. Let's see. These the same. JD says we're only looking at dollar for dollar returns. However, with inflation, gold may have a breakout to the upside soon, where Lego should stay the same. I think these are the same, but I've made that mistake before. Let's find out here. Wonderful. I love it when part numbers don't come up in Brickstore. Okay. 14 millimeter. Okay. Yes, these are the same. Excellent. What time is it? 3:20. All right. There's a lot of hair in here. Wonder if they have an animal. I will have to investigate this. Funbrick Creation says, I don't consolidate everything, but I have every part marked with a location, whether it's in a drawer, Ziploc bag, big parts, or Ziplocs labeled by color for used Lego. Yeah, I mean, we use a very specific numbering system, right? So, yeah. Alrighty. Alrighty. You pulled the same face I do when sorting tires, the really do I have to face. So I noticed there are a lot of T-Y-R-Es. Is that the common spelling? Is that the British spelling? Paul said your math was correct. Gold is about 13 times higher than the metallic gold bars. Great. I feel validated. Okay. Now to do some weights. I will be back momentarily, although you should still be able to hear me. Alrighty. Funbar Creation says, I only have 5 acros, so I have to be smart on how I can fit more into a small space. In Australia, we spell tires. Interesting. I wonder what the etymology of that is. Although, I believe the Y is older than the I, so that, interesting. I wonder how that originated, because tire, as in rubber thing, is a newer word, I would assume. No, it originated from attire. Interesting. Kai Lamont says, real fun is cataloging a collection of different tires, because there's about 1,000 different ones. Yeah, so I've narrowed it down. I had 30 pounds of assorted tires. Thankfully, our B sorter broke it up mostly by lot. Yeah. Dunder Mifflin, Brickco says it makes a lot of sense to separate the spelling of a chunk of rubber and getting sleepy. Yes, but usually how language works is people don't think of it that straightforwardly, right? I mean, usually, a lot of times, these different spellings and stuff actually come from completely irrelevant words. They just happen to be homophones. So, interesting. I wonder if attire originally was spelled with a Y. That is quite likely. But then, I guess if attire used to be spelled with a Y, and then it became an I, then tire just did not change. That would make sense. But anyway, next piece. How are sales in May? I will check in just a moment here. Alrighty, let's take a look. I have not checked today. It is Saturday, so my guess is that they are back up to where they should be. We have a very significant difference in order intensity. No, orders are down. That's not very good. Still, usually what happens is our average goes down during the week quite a bit, and it looks like it's a bad month, and then come Saturday, Sunday, it rockets back up, and then it looks as if we're improving over the month. So we have a very high order rate on Saturday and Sunday, so it could still go up tomorrow. It is a little concerning because we have been adding again recently, so a little concerning about that. But hopefully, you can't really get too stressed over the day-to-day stuff. David West and I had talked about this before. There's a lot of people that go, oh, is BrickLink doing bad this month? It's possible, but all in all, we usually try and pay attention more to an overall trend. So ask again next stream, and we'll let you know how May is going. But yeah, we're down right now, which is sad. But it could all change tomorrow. Like usually we'll get like 3 to 5 orders a day in Monday through Friday, and then we'll get like 15 over one day on a weekend. So it is very very strange how many people buy on Saturday and Sunday. Sales are about to begin the summer slowdown as well. Yes, hopefully we have broken out of that barrier. We did some math, and it affects smaller stores a lot more than it affects larger stores. So hopefully we will escape the summer slowdown size limit. But we'll have to wait. The summer slowdown is more a June, July. I believe it was June, July, August, September. So yeah, because you can kind of do the math using order numbers to order ID numbers. Steve W says back to tank. Steve W, the back to tank, says BL is pretty consistent across the platform. Take your first order number from every month and work out the difference to see platform sales. It's pretty consistent. Yeah, we had done that, and we did notice a slump in 3 months in the summer. But we did that math a while ago, so who knows. Miko says, I have about 4 to 5 boxes of used Lego. Do you think it'd be better to sell them on BrickLink or all at once? All at once. If you're going to sell them on BrickLink, you're going to have to index every single part individually and list them all individually. And that is quite a time commitment. As someone who runs a BrickLink store full time, I can say, if you have, depending on the size of your boxes, that's dozens of hours there. Especially if you don't have any experience, it might be, 100 hours plus. So, yeah, probably better to just sell them individually. If you're located in the Southern California area, email us or hit us up on Discord, and will make you an offer. Miko says, I've started sorting it. I've done one box. I mean, if you've done one box down to the element level, you know, use that as a time, and then figure out you're gonna have to apply for a seller account, which involves sending them your ID and proof of inventory, and then you're going to have to upload. Probably using Brickstore would be my recommendation. All of the parts, so it's definitely a commitment. And 4 to 5 boxes probably is not going to be super efficient. We operate usually on units of 20 pounds per category, so we will only sort a category of Lego, like 1x2 plates, or sorry, 1x2 bricks, when we have 20 pounds of it, right? And that will take an hour and a half to 2 hours to break it down to lot, or to break it down to element, and then it has to be broken down into color and cataloged using piece ID. So up to you. Also, depending on how much you have uploaded, you're gonna have to play with pricing and stuff. So just do keep that in mind. If you want to do it, then I do wholly recommend you do it. Obviously, we sell on the platform, so I do recommend it. But as I always say, I only recommend setting up BrickLink and selling on BrickLink if your goal is to make a business, is to run a business, unless it's just something you enjoy. But if it's to be a hobby, or sorry, if it's to generate revenue for your hobby, or to sell off a collection, I generally do not recommend. Goodbye, JD. Fun Recreation says, as I only get a sale or two a week, I don't see any difference between summer or winter sales. I guess that is a slight positive of having a small store. All right, I'm just gonna count these straight up. All right, if you saw me pulling stuff out there, there is a type here which is definitely a variation. Very different type of rubber, and my gut tells me that these are not Lego. So I'm just not going to risk it. Matt says, sales are way down compared to March. It's a fact. Yeah. We definitely noticed it a lot, you know, in terms of our size. Last summer, there definitely was a summer slump, for us at least. will give you the data this summer as to whether there is a summer slump or not. You know, ask large stores whether there is a summer slump for them. My guess is that you know, it has to do a lot with size. Miko says, thanks. Halio Snaps says, I find sorting relaxing and stress relieving. It's an alternative to watching TV. Therefore, my time spent is not an expense. And then it makes sense. Yeah, it's definitely a good alternative to other activities. Also, if you enjoy it, then obviously do it because you enjoy it. And that's the important part. Alright, guys, so probably going to be ending it reasonably soon here. So, yeah, any last minute questions? I only got like 3 lots done, so hooray, very productive stream. Not entirely unexpected, as usually cataloging on stream, especially while solo, is not the most productive thing to do. So probably going to be ending off so I can get some work done before I clock out for this evening. Hooray. Funbrick Creation says, I pull my used Lego apart, sort into color at the same time, and then sort into parts. I recommend that you don't sort by color. I recommend you find some categories and sort by that. Sorting by color might seem faster and easier at the high level, and that's because it is. But it's going to be much, much harder for you to tell the element types apart by color. And also, when you're using Brickstore, you're not adding by color, you're adding by element type. You type in an ID, and then you select a color. So it's going to be way more efficient if you have 10 colors of the same ID all together, and you add like that. I strongly recommend that you switch to a sorting model like that if you want to boost the amount that you're able to process. Just because it's a lot more efficient. But yeah, that's looking kind of like it today. Thank you everyone for tuning in to the tire stream. I'm very tired now after doing the tire stream. So I'm going to try and get some work done and figure out my plan for the rest of the week. There should be a vlog coming out sometime this week. I believe that there is enough footage saved up for that to actually get done. So be on the lookout for that. In that vlog, I'll be explaining some kind of the changes that we've been making here at Just a Brick in the Bucket in the recent past in terms of our sorting and cataloging and general workflow. You guys will get to see the category wall and some other stuff as well. So look forward to that. I believe it's going to be the first segment in the new vlog. So I don't have an exact day for when that's going to be up, but hopefully this upcoming week. So see y'all. Oh, like, subscribe, Discord, as per usual. Lots of great people there to help you out. Goodbye.